Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Making Magic Happen, brought to you by beautiful RIW Hobbies and Games in Livonia, Michigan. I'm Zach, and today we're going to play some Standard. I have put together a little bit of a list here. We've got something a little bit special. I'm calling it the Bogmus Breakfast because if there's anything you need to know about Kyle Bogmus, it's that this dude likes to eat eggs for breakfast, and we have a smoldering egg special here. Gonna egg up. Getting eggy today. Okay, so before we get into it, I'd like to remind everybody to take a second to pause, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and leave a comment on the video. Question: what do you think about this deck? Do you need to play a tiered deck in Standard to win, or can you brew your own and have success? So, I'm asking the question. I want to see what you guys think. Let me know, because you're going to find out it's pretty obvious. I think you can brew whatever you want. I think you can put together decks that play good cards and have success as long as you use some principles that correspond with having success in Magic. And this is not a deck other people have seen. This is not a deck other people have played. It's something I made myself, and I think it's kind of broken. So I'm giving it to you guys now in a video form. I'm giving it to you ahead of time. This is what I will be playing at the SCG Invitational come Halloween, so October 30th, 2021. And I'm posting the list ahead of time. So you can have my list. You can play this at the Invitational. I am currently number 3 on the leaderboard, I think, with this. And we're going to try to go for number 1 in this video. But before we do that, I'm going to explain what is going on in this deck, so you kind of have an understanding of what I'm trying to do and why I think this deck is so good. So, what is this deck doing that other decks in Standard aren't doing? Well, I'm casting cheap spells. You'll notice I have a full 13 one-mana spells in my deck. I actually had 14 at points. And I think you could go even higher than that. But the secret here is I'm casting one-mana spells. Go look at any other deck list in Standard. At most, they have 6. I'm playing 13. That's more than double however many one-mana spells all the other decks have. I guess some of the mono white decks are playing 12 1-drops. Some of those are bad. These are not bad spells. These are all good spells. Duress is a forever staple in every Magic format ever. Bloodchief's Thirst is a modern playable removal spell. Fading Hope, I don't think is modern playable, but it's not far off, and it's kind of Standard defining. And consider a modern played cantrip. So you see a lot of good one-mana spells. And then we have Expressive Iteration, which is seeing play as far back as Legacy at the moment, and somewhat dominant in Legacy, to be quite honest. I mean, Blue-Red Delver is talked about as needing a ban, and Expressive Iteration is a big part of that. Okay, so given all these one-mana spells, why don't people play that many one-mana spells in Standard? Well, you run out of stuff to cast, right? You cast your one-mana spells, and then on turn 5, you already cast your whole hand. You don't have that much to do. That's kind of the problem with playing a mono-white deck, right? Why is that not an issue with this deck? Well, we have this card here, Leer, Disciple of the Drowned. And Leer is what really makes all this tick. Leer is broken. Leer is an outrageous Magic card. I can't believe this thing is printed, and I can't believe more people aren't as high on this as they should be, because this card is just ridiculous. It says spells can't be countered, which is a weird clause to put on a card. Just in general, spells can't be countered, but it's powerful, and it's supposed to be a drawback for the types of decks that want to play Leer, but in this deck you can use it as an advantage. And then it says each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. Each instant, not just target, each. Snapcaster Mage was a defining modern card, and it gave 1 instant or sorcery flashback. One time. This gives all of them. Every spell you cast, you get to cast twice. What's the best way to make use of that? Well, make all your spells cost 1 mana and then cast them all twice. It's broken. You literally cast twice as many spells as your opponent in every game with this deck. So anyway, that's all Leer does, is it lets you cast all these spells from your graveyard. How do we make use of that? Well, the secret is Sedgemoor Witch and Smoldering Egg. I've seen other lists that have Smoldering Egg, and they do use that one they do use it well, but not as well as this deck. And I haven't really seen other lists playing Sedgemoor Witch, maybe some mono black lists, but they're not using it right either. Basically, both of these cards just want you to cast a ton of spells, which is something the deck's already built to do. So you just get one of these things in play, and then you cast a bunch of spells, and then you win the game. And you never run out of gas, because Leer and Expressive Iteration just mean you get to constantly cast spells, and you get to use Consider to find them. And I also have 2 Memory Deluge. This is to just kind of ensure that you never run out of gas. It is the most questionable card in the deck. I could definitely go either way on it. I could go back to playing a 4th Consider and like some other spell, maybe a kill spell, something. But I think I like the 2 Memory Deluge. And then post-board, we get some other tools. So one of the things that's iffy about this deck is your All-Runs Epiphany matchup can be a little loose game 1. They can definitely get you, although when you're dividing by 0 their spells twice, you still can win those games, certainly. Divide by 0 is another messed up card, for the record. It plays perfectly in this in that it's a counter spell that draws a card for you to cast, whether it be Environmental Sciences out of the sideboard to get you a basic land to help fix your 3-color mana base, or Introduction to Prophecy. You'll notice I'm playing Introduction to Prophecy in this deck instead of Teachings of the Archaic. I think just having the Ponder effect, or I guess this is Preordain, is better. And you don't always, like, when you have less cards than your opponent, obviously Teaching of the Archaic is better, but a lot of times you just want to trigger Sedgemoor Witch and Smoldering Egg, and you don't really care about generating card advantage, you're just trying to get triggers. And when that's the case, or you're trying to find something specific like Leer, and when that's the case, Prophecy is better than Archaic, and I think it's just better in general. Then you have Mascot Exhibition as an extra win con, also an auto flip on Smoldering Egg, which I think matters. It can come up a lot that you like divide by 0 on your own egg to save it from a removal spell, untap, play egg, play Mascot Exhibition, auto flip. Boom. There you go. Rest of the sideboard is just tools to take care of specific things. I said the All-Runs Epiphany matchup can be a little loose game 1. Well, the 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Malevolent Hermit, and 2 Test of Talents really shore that up post-board. You board out all your removal, and you trim Leer. You still play Leer, but you trim it, and you be very careful because the Can't Be Countered clause kind of goes both ways with the card. It can help you against their counterspells, but hinder you against their Epiphanies, so you really need to play that one well, and it's a little bit tricky, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to beat the Epiphany decks. And then I also have Go Blanks for other Leer decks. I have 2 of them just to clean out their graveyards. And then I've got 4 extra removal spells for Mono White and Mono Green. I'm not sure if Flunk or Power Word kills better. I maybe should split the difference. I'm going to keep working on that one to find it out. But right now I have Flunk because of Toski, Bearer of Secrets or whatever. I could see it being Power Word kill. I'm not sure. I'll keep working on it. Power Word Kill doesn't kill Faceless Haven, which is really annoying, and Flunk does, so that's another point in Flunk's favor. And Soul Shatter is mostly for Goldspan Dragon, but also pretty good against Mono Green when they board in all of these Autumn's Veils or whatever. Snakeskin Veil, that's the one. They'll leave up Snakeskin Veil against you a lot, like, oh, I'm going to blow out his removal spell, and then you just Soul Shatter them, and their thing gets sacrificed, and they're still holding up the Snakeskin Veil, which didn't do anything, so that's what we got in the sideboard. Still work in progress. By the time the event comes around, I might move. Soul Shatter's actually really, really impressed me, so I could see a Soul Shatter making its way into the main deck, maybe over a Shatter Skull Smashing or something. But otherwise, very happy with the deck. Yeah, let's get into some games and see where we're at. I am still currently sitting at number 3. So yeah, let's see if we can get to number 1 today. The Bogmus Breakfast. You love to see it. You just love to see it. All right, we have a hand that's like very good if it has a red source. Sadly, this does not have a red source. On the draw, I'm tempted to keep this, just on the off chance I draw a red source in the top 2. But I think given that I just don't have plays to make, I think this is a mulligan. This is really awkward too. Still no red source. That said, I do believe this one is a keep. I have a Consider to help me find some other mana. And I've got a kill spell. I've got some expressive iterations to kind of make back my mulligan. And I've got 2 payoffs to build towards. It's loose, certainly, but I think if I find a red source, I'm in pretty good shape. And on the draw with a consider, I'm willing to keep it. So I'm going to keep and bottom expressive iteration because I have 2 of them. And really just hope I draw a land for turn. The deck has 27 lands. So we have a lot of lands. Alright, 3 mana spell was very much not what we were looking for. We are playing as mono green though. Alright, so binning land really stinks here. But it's the only color I just played, so I am going to bin it. Yep. Deck. Ugh. Alright. What a fantastic showing for game 1 here. What a way to start. Maybe Arena will be nice and let me rip a mana source here. I guess that plays. Not great, but I'll take it. I will say the mana is looking bad currently, but the mana is actually like pretty good in this deck. It's unfortunate it's, you know, doing as poorly as it is, but such is life. All right, can we find a mana source? We did. All right. So, arguably back in this game, although I imagine I'm too far behind at this point. I think they're going to removal spell my egg, and I'm going to lose here. They just got too many turns of me doing nothing, and it was on the draw. Yep. All right. So that's unfortunate. It's going to happen. Mold, you know, just never got the mana off the ground there. It's okay. I am not concerned. I think this matchup is quite favorable. So, yeah, I'm just going to go post board and win. It's the plan anyway. I like Fading Hope against green, but not a ton. I also like to board out a Divide by 0. Just 1, though. No, I think I'm going to cut a Deluge, actually. This is really not the matchup for Deluge. I do like having 2 Duress. I actually think there's a real chance I'm supposed to have 3 Duress post board, but I think 2 is fine as well. Alright, good to be on the play here. And we finally have a hand that has functional mana. And, I mean, these are the hands you just, like, pray for with this deck. I will say it looks a little awkward how to sequence this because it seems like you want to Duress on turn 1, but Duressing on turn 3 against green is totally fine. You give them a few extra turns to draw Chariot. You don't actually care about Ranger class all that much. And they can't kill egg unless they have a creature in play, so like they're just never going to be able to kill egg on turn 2. So here, oh, they don't even play the 2-drop. I mean, that's really bad for them. Alright, well, I'm going to play the black source because I have a bunch of black spells in my hand. I mean, now, like, they are so far behind egg. They're going to play a 3-drop here. They're going to get Divide by 0'd. And then I'm going to get Introduction to Prophecy. We're going to flip the egg next turn. Yeah, I mean, this is just... This is why I have, like, Archaic would also be good here, don't get me wrong. But I just so much rather always have it be good, if that makes sense. Oh, I get to Divide by 0 again. That is outrageous. Alright, well, I'm going to Duress them so that this Divide flips. Do they have a Chariot? They do have a Chariot and a Tangle Trap. So I'm going to take the Tangle Trap so that when egg flips, they can't do anything about it. I'm going to play this on red. So I am short a blue source, but that's okay. I'm probably getting environmental with Divide. And now they just kind of... I mean, they know what's coming here. They know they're in trouble. But there's nothing to be done about it, so here they are. You know, cast whatever you want to cast. I'm going to Divide by 0 it. We're going to have an Ashmouth Dragon, and we'll go to game 3. This is kind of what I was talking about in the introduction about my deck just being cheaper than theirs. Look, I have already cast 2 or 3 spells to their, 1? They've cast 1 spell this game, and it got divided by 0. And I could cast my whole hand, and they just can't. So, I mean, They're just going to get tempoed way out of this game. They just don't really have a real chance. Oh my goodness, that's a very good draw. Yeah, I think I just 2 them here. Get another blue source. Play the Witch. Let them Froghemoth me because I don't care about my graveyard here. And now they're just getting stormed out. I mean, this game is over. I don't think there's anything in their deck they can draw to get back into this. I know their hand. I guess maybe if both of these were Blizzard Brawls, they'd have a chance, and maybe I should have played around it. But I just think the likelihood of them drawing 2 Blizzard Brawls is just so low that it's just doesn't even matter. Yeah, and if you're playing Chariot, the game's over. Chariot just doesn't beat the what I have happening here, just at all. It just doesn't. Okay. So the question is how I want to do this. I think the answer is I start with an introduction to Prophecy. So if I target them, they just die, right? No matter what they do, they have to kill Ashmouth or they die. Yeah, I'll target them. I mean, they're in kind of a darned if they do, darned if they don't scenario, right? Because they can't really attack any of these 1/1s. So they just have to draw a kill spell for the dragon. And there's not a ton they can draw that do that. All right, I'm going to bottom both of these. I am looking for Leer specifically, or like Expressive Iteration, basically. So I'm just bottoming anything that isn't those. And I'm just going to go face with the dragon here. No chance I'm blocking. A lot of these aggro decks play good from ahead and awful from behind. So if you can put them on the back foot, you're just not good. And that's kind of the case with a lot of cards in Standard. There's a ton of cards in Standard that are very good from ahead and pretty bad from behind, honestly. Yeah, like very bad from behind, honestly, actually. So that is, that is the scenario with Chariot specifically. Chariot's like actually better from behind than most of the premier cards, but not like significantly so. I don't really want to trade off the Witch. I'd rather cast more spells. Yeah. Regardless, opponent, I mean, what do they do here? Like, if they don't have exactly another Tangle Trap to kill Dragon, they're dead. I have hauled the Storm Giants to activate next turn and swing for 7. They can't really do anything with it other than block, but I also have a Menace creature coming in. Opponent's in a tough spot. Opponent is in a very tough spot here. Alright, they're using their full clock, trying to find the way out. There just isn't one, opponent. I appreciate the, taking your time and thinking about it, but I don't know. Unless you have Tangle Trap, you are not going to get it here. The other thing that's awkward is they have to play around, like if they have a Blizzard Brawl, which they probably don't, but if they did, they have to play around Soul Shatter too, and they don't know about Soul Shatter, so like, these things aren't big enough to Blizzard Brawl, so they either need to animate Chariot or play Mammoth. If they play Mammoth, they can kind of make it work. Like, they need Mammoth plus land, and then they can crew Chariot in response. But all of those things said, like, then they're going to end up dying to Witch because they use these to crew, and then I just, like, to them, attack with Witch and haul, and then they die. So I just don't, I don't know. I just don't see any... They're just too far behind, and green just doesn't come back from behind very well. Opponent is taking the full clock, though. I think they realize they have been beat and are getting salty, maybe? I don't know. Nope, we're attacking. Okay. There's no way that's correct, but I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, I'm not blocking. I don't know if you're trying to race when you're at 8 and I'm at 22 and you're behind on board, but if you want to do that, by all means. The problem, too, with them attacking there is now they just are so dead to Soul Shatter. Like, their kill spells are fight spells, so they have to get something in play that can fight a dragon, and it's just never going to work against the Soul Shatter. So there you have it. That is the game. They can't even like crew Chariot. To you. And we're thinking about it. They also can't even target Witch anymore. Because they have to pay 3 life. And you'll notice Ashmouth Witch, or Ashmouth Dragon and Sedgemoor Witch play really well together because one's shocking them, the other one's lightning bolting them, and it just adds up that if you try to get rid of them, you take a lot of damage. Which is tough. It's the bind this deck puts you in. Alright, opponent. We don't need the roping. I get what we're trying to do here, but it's not cool. Alright. I'm going to go to combat and attack, and that's going to be the game. I don't really understand the getting salty thing either. Like, you're up a game, dude. I just gave you game 1. We just played a game where I just didn't cast spells and died. I mean, that was what we did. I just gave you game 1. I didn't cast spells, I died. And now you get to go to game 3 on the play, so I don't know. If you want to concede, you're welcome to. But the salt roping is pretty lame. This is why I don't waste time with Arena. Opponents getting salty in a game that just matters for actual nothing. Nice. Alright. On the draw, I am going to bring back a Duress. Just because I saw Tangled Trap. I actually kind of want a second one. Or the 4th one on the draw. I kind of want my Fading Hope back too. I think this is good though. Okay, maybe they just left or disconnected. I don't know. All right. Oh, I don't know what the deal was. They were roping me and then they disconnected, and now fair. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I don't know what that was. Still didn't move up. It's kind of annoying to move up when you're in high mythic, but here we are. We didn't move up, right? As long as we didn't go down. Sometimes you win these things and you go down and you're like, what the heck? What is going on with this system? But alright, I'm playing against someone named Metro. They're at 94%. This hand is awkward because I don't have a black source. That said, I do have 2 expressive iterations, and this deck's really good with expressive iteration, and these are the secret to it. Other decks play expressive iteration, like desperately need to hit a land. I still want to hit a land with this hand, but like, you know, as long as I find a black source, I can desperate iteration and just play one of these. I think this hand's definitely a keep. I will say this hand is a reason to have the 1 mana one over Shatter Skull Smashing. What is it? Spikefield Hazard. It'd be nice to be able to play Mountaineer and have a 1 mana play to kill their thing. But I played Shatter Skull Smashing to give myself an extra big kill spell, I guess I'd say. And then also Youthful Valkyrie. I don't know what I'm playing against. Another Angel. I guess Black-White Angels. Okay, well, I'm just going to shock this in. And divide by 0 and get environmental sciences. And this is the reason you can play 3 colors in this deck, quite honestly. Is that you have divide by 0 off blue and you have a lot of blue sources, and environmental sciences just always fixes your mana for you, which is beautiful. So I would like a Swamp. Nice. And then I think I could Duress. I think actually Blood Chief's Thirst is like not that bad here. The rest of my hand is kind of similar. Yeah, I'll Blood Chief's Thirst, fine. And now the nice thing is if they play Spellbinder this turn, it's like, I guess you can take something out of my hand, but I don't know. What are you taking? I guess Fading Hope? Sure, you can have any of them. I don't really... It's kind of all just the same thing right now. The Duress probably doesn't even hit. I guess if they take Duress, then I know Duress is good. So maybe... Yeah, they take the Deluge. Well, that is the worst one, but that's fine. Alright, let's see what we hit up the top here. Oh, a Dragon. Hello. One of them into your hand. I'll take Egg. One of them into my library. I think I'm going to be greedy here. I have another Expressive Iteration to hit a land drop next turn. So I'm going to put this in my library, and I'm going to exile the Egg. And I want a black source anyway, so I'm going to play this off these two lands. Play this as a black source, and duress them to take the kill spell for the Egg. And I don't know what this is, but this looks like that was going to be really bad for me. Rampage of the Valkyrie enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 angel. Whenever an angel you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. Yeah, that sounds horrible for me. I'm really happy I addressed that. Drawing a blue source off the top here would be incredible. Oh my goodness. That is really good. So now the question is, do I want to just auto-flip my Egg with Deluge? Or do I want to play a second Egg and set up to flip both next turn? Tough call. I think given that they don't have that much going on and I'm still sitting at 15, I can slow play this a little bit. They really don't have that much going on. Yeah, this is fine. If I find like a Blood Chief's Thirst off this, we're in pretty good shape. Okay. I'll put Consider in my hand and exile this. Exile that. Perfect. And just play that. I'm going to pass with Fading Hope up. I don't know what they have, but if they draw a kill spell or something, I can Fading Hope, save my Egg. Luminarch Aspirant's a fine one to Fading Hope to. Let's see what they target. Okay. They can't recast it. But also, like, I don't know that it even matters. I think I'm just going to let this happen. Yeah, this is fine. Alright, so let's Deluge flip both of these here eggs. I'm going to take... Oh, it's weird that I only see 6. I'm used to 4 and 7, but yeah, okay. Another Deluge, I guess, and... I don't know. It's all going to win. Shadow Skull Smashing? Sure. Play this here blue source. They're choked on white mana, so I'm going to bounce Youthful Valkyrie so they can recast it if they want. Kill both of their creatures. I even get a Scry. This is pretty nice. Yeah, that's going to kill the Youthful Valkyrie when they replay it, and I'm going to attack. Another important thing, another important interaction, the Egg is mana spent, so that was why the Memory Deluge thing worked, but also, when you kick a Blood Chief's Thirst, you can use it to flip Egg, which is an important little distinction here in this deck. I don't think I need any of the... Oh, opponent is just conceding. Alright. And we're up to number 2. Nice. Well, these haven't been great games to showcase the deck, necessarily, but we're going to keep going. I feel a little bad. I had a pretty nice run of games yesterday when I was, really ironing this deck out. But, maybe we can get a good game here to go to 2 from number 2 to 1. All right, actually get someone in the top 1,000 too. I'll take that. Hopefully some good competition here. Magthy, bring your best. I want your best. So this is a really awkward situation with the deck, is how do you sequence playing the pathways with iteration and turn 1 black spells? And that is awkward, certainly. I tend towards playing the blue and duressing later. It's not super crucial to duress right away, and the longer you wait, the more chance you let them play lands and draw spells. So your duress is going to hit a little better if you wait a few turns. I guess what I'm going for here. That said, I kind of just want to duress now to kind of clear the way for Sedgemoor. Just jamming a Sedgemoor next turn. And then I can start iterating the turn after. Yeah, let's do it like that. That's fine. Oh no, they have a ton of ways to kill Sedgemoor. Yikes. All right, well, maybe we're not doing that. Well, let's see how this goes. Opponent just has a bunch of Dragon Fires for the time being. Which I can certainly make them use the Dragon's Fire. That said, I'm definitely not just going to jam Witch into it next turn. I'm going to wait till I either find a Fading Hope or another Duress or something to... some reason to get the Dragon Fire out of their hand, I guess. So I'd say, yeah, I don't really want to draw... Oh, a Blue Source actually would have been good, but I'm binning because I'm looking for like a Leer here, something like that. Yeah, I'm still just going to keep passing. It's not crazy to jam the Sedgemoor here, but I can just get more value with it later. And given that I see Dragon's Fire, it means they're playing dragons, and I don't have to be in such a rush against them. Certainly, I don't want to, take forever, but I don't need to be in like a crazy rush against dragons. If they jam a Goldspan here, though, it's kind of awkward. But it's pretty weird to jam a Goldspan into just 4 open mana. It's just going to get divided by 0 most of the time. Now, if this Deluge lives, we got something going on. Or the Deluge resolves, I should say. I would imagine this is getting countered by either, or divided by 0, or Jwari Disruption. I could see that too, for sure. But let's see. Oh, they Deluge in response. Okay. That makes sense. Seems to me like they're looking for a Goldspan Dragon. Totally understandable. Oh my goodness, these were good draws. Ooh. So how do I want to do this? Man, Leer is really good. It is hard to pass up Leer here, but I think I can. No. I don't think I can pass up Leer here. I think that's crazy. Yeah, I'm just going to take Leer and divide. And start this turn off with an expressive. One of them into my hand. Well, if I knew I was drawing a Leer, I would have done this differently, but here we are. Awkward that I'm discarding the hand size here. I guess I just play Sedgemoor. I imagine I'm going to get Goldspanned, but that's, I think, okay. Because I do want them to tap out on my turn. Because it means I get to resolve Leer, and that's what I'm going for. And now that I'm focused on resolving Leer, them getting the Dragon's Fire out of their hand is like pretty good for me. This line might have been wrong, though, because just dividing by 0 the Goldspan on the stack is generally better. But I have to imagine they have a Goldspan after a Memory Deluge. There's just no way they don't. Ooh, Smoldering Egg. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Fair enough. So... I am now... Man, this is a really good turn to get Leer in play and just duress them. It does make me a little weak to Goldspan. Just a little, though. I think I'm still going to do it. Because if they don't have something great in their hand, then their turn is basically just Flashback Memory Deluge, which is like not that good for them. It's okay. And I can untap and Shatter Skull, smashing most of their board. Alright, let's see what they got. Kill spell? I imagine they have a Fading Hope and they're going to Fading Hope Leer, but that would also be okay for me. They do have a Fading Hope and an Expressive Iteration. Interesting. Huh. I think I'm okay with them Fading Hoping Leer, and I just don't want them to have the cards. Maybe that's weird with the Memory Deluge in the yard. But they can't even cast Deluge next turn as it sits. So, and they don't get the Scry off Fading Hope on Leer. And the fact that they didn't Fading Hope in response to the duress means they kind of wanted it to go the way that it did. So, there you have it. Alright. Opponent is setting up to flip Dragon with like an All Runs Epiphany or a Memory Deluge here. And I'm just going to double divide by 0 so I can get Leer back in play next turn. Just send everything back to their hand. I think that's where I want to be here. Ooh, they're just passing? Well, that's fine by me. I get to divide by 0 egg and not really worry about what goes on. I think I'm taking Prophecy here. And here's a spot where Prophecy is way better than Teachings of the Archaic. I actually get to find something I want. So I can leave up Divide if I play Leer, which is like pretty good, I think. Yeah, let's do that. This could go awkward for me, but I think it's fine. So now they're Memory Deluging, and like, sure, this looks like it's not great for me, but I think I'm just totally in a fine spot. I am now ahead on board. Opponent has no pressure on me, and they have to play into my Divide. So they have to have a plan to do something about my Divide, which means they kind of have to find their own Divide, because counterspells don't work when Leer's in play. So they either need to find an answer to Leer, and a counterspell to stop the Divide that's even in my yard. They don't even know about this one yet. So like, their next, essentially, if they don't play around it right, their next 3 spells get bounced back to their hand, which can be just absolutely destructive tempo-wise. And then even getting around all of those hurdles, they're still in a horrible spot because I just still have 2 Leers and then a ton of card draw to just find more gas. I'm like, my Memory Deluge is still in the yard. Alright. What I'm really missing here is my own egg. I would love to find an egg or another Sedgemoor Witch. I very much regret passing on the egg for this Leer earlier, but Leer's just so instrumental to this deck in these matchups that I think I'm still happy with the decision. Let's see what they do here. The one thing that is annoying is that this Divide by 0 is just face up. Like, they know it's here. There's no concealing it. I have a Divide by 0 I can cast. Okay. Okay. Yep. We have 2 egg. 2 egg. Very good. Alright. I am going to consider. I'd like to find a Blood Chief's Thirst here and just kill both of these. That'd be great. That's pretty good, though. I don't think I can pass that up. Alright. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it. Alright. I'm going to play a land. I wasn't supposed to play a land in case this iteration hit, but I really just want a Bloodchief's Thirst here, or my own egg. Both would be completely reasonable. And of course, can't hit any of them. Put one of them in my hand. This one, I guess. Exile one, sure. This is so awkward. Can we find a Bloodchief's Thirst? We did find a Bloodchief's Thirst. That's good. So Arena has tapped my mana pretty poorly, which is annoying. I mean, I know they have an Epiphany on suspend. I think that's fine, though. Let's see what happens when I Bloodchief's... yeah, let's see what happens when I Bloodchief's Thirst this one. As you can see, the problem with this deck, Arena does not handle the tapper very well, which is an issue. Certainly. And I could definitely lose to opponent casting 2 Epiphanies here. That would be really annoying. I wish I would have left up another black source, but, you know, what are you going to do? To discard 2 cards. What am I discarding? Probably this Pathway. And then... I guess Iteration. Sure. I don't really need more cards if I'm discarding 2 cards in my end step and I have 2 Memory Deluges and a Leer that I can play. I'm more choked on mana right now. I just want efficient spells. Still haven't found an egg though, or a witch. Both of those kind of lock this game up. The good news for me here, though, is, like, I think this is an Epiphany, but if they Epiphany here, which they probably will, it's, like, with nothing on board, so I'm just not behind to pressure or anything. And they're taking another turn, and yeah, they get 2 1/1s, but, like, that's just not that good. It's fine. It's, like, a way to, you know, kind of draw some, you know, expressive iteration a few times, get yourself back in the game, kind of find your footing, I guess, but it's just really not that good. The one that's going to be the issue is the second one. If one of these is also an iteration, it'll be pretty bad for... Or Epiphany, excuse me. It would be pretty bad for me. But if it's not, whatever. A Goldspan Dragon would be annoying. But I think I'm in a spot where I beat a Goldspan Dragon. Okay. Alright, so opponent has thrown down the gauntlet. Oh my goodness, and they had a second Epiphany. Yep, that kills me. Alright, so they found all the things. That's good for them. I probably screwed up the turn. I should have just left up Divide by 0. What are you going to do? But that's okay. Not the end of the world by any means. I'm going to go down a Leer. Up Disdainful Stroke, Test of Talents, and Malevolent Hermit. Down another Leer. Fading Hope, I think, is close to unplayable in this matchup. And I don't think Witch is actually very good in this matchup. I think it's like medium at best. I'm leaving Bloodchief's Thirsts for their Witches and their eggs, which I think is totally reasonable. I'm going to cut all the Leers. I'm going to cut a Shatter Skull Smashing. I mean, that's why Dragons is good. You know, the deck only plays 3 Allruns Epiphanies, but when they chain 2 of them in a row with a Goldspan, they're going to win. Come on, mana. I guess I cut a Shatter Skull Smashing, but I don't know, 27 lands. Alright, this hand's still good, though. I am going to keep. What are we bottoming? I think it's Blightstep Pathway. And I'm going to lead here so that I can duress into Epiphany. Also, on the pathways in this deck, just as a heads up, you do want to prioritize... Oh, that changes things. That changes things a lot. Does it? Yeah, it changes things. You do want to prioritize having the pathways on blue and red because all of your duels make black. So that is something to be noted. Now I kind of wish I had an extra black source, but, you know, here we are. Let's see what Expressive Iteration brings today. A black source, nice. Do I want another iteration? I don't know that I do. I already have one. But I also already have a Bloodchief's Thirst. I don't want to put the iteration in my hand. I was probably supposed to take the Bloodchief's Thirst. I think that was wrong already. I would rather have a Soul Shatter, but I do think that was wrong already. But Bloodchief's Thirst is really good in a world where Egg is one of the best cards in the format, which I do believe is the truth. I think Egg is one of the best cards in the format. And already sad. Already sad. Alright, let's see what happens when I attack. Do they offer the trade? Curious to see if they offer the trade. They do not. Interesting. Alright, let's see what they do about Expressive Iteration. Do we counter this one? They do. Alright. So, essentially, it ended up being the exact same thing. I guess that one costs one more mana, but, you know, whatever. Imrith? That's pretty bad. I guess I just Disdainful Stroke it, and then they can't stop me otherwise. Oh, wait. No, this thing stops it, right? Oh, I can't stop that. I'm going to take the Dragon's Fire, I guess. So now they're just going to flash this back, which is annoying, because now I need to find a kill spell. I'm really hoping they Expressive Iteration this turn. That's kind of the hope. I will snap off counter your Expressive Iteration with Hermit. I don't think they're going to give me that choice, though. Yeah, they don't. They don't. Alright, Deluge in the hand. Into the library with Riverglide. Would I rather have blue? I think I'd actually rather have blue. Yeah, I'm going to put Haunted Ridge in the library and exile Riverglide. This has worked out extraordinarily awkwardly. Yeah, and now they're iterating. That said, now I'm in a spot where I get to fire off my Deluge. Although they can Test of Talents it, which is really awkward. This Geist. Big problem. Oh wait, I can still Disdainful Stroke. This is only non-creature spells. Got it. That makes sense. Alright. I have the Imrith covered. We're all good. All good. They have another Hermit. Now I am less covered on the Imrith. I think it's important to get the Sedgemoor in play. I think I'm going to end up having my Disdainful Stroke countered by this Hermit, and that's going to be awkward, but then it at least allows me to resolve a Memory Deluge next turn, which could get me back in this game. If they miss a land drop here and jam Imrith, that's like the best thing ever for me. I think they lose on the spot if they do that, so hoping for that. I can't imagine them doing that, but would be really cool if they did. Alright, so we're attacking with the 2-2, yep. What are we doing after that? Oh my goodness, they did it. Alright, we'll take it. And that is the game. Oh, we drew the Soul Shatter anyway. Interesting. So I don't have cheap red spells to cast. So this is where Arena gets annoying. But playing in paper, you can kind of control that better. Two of them in my hand. It's definitely these two. I think I already played my land. No, I have not. Oh, beautiful. It's like getting to play the land there is amazing. And they are now trading, which is good. I think I'm just supposed to keep the pressure on. This can go bad for me, but now their Test of Talents doesn't do anything, so that's good. Now we switch spots where my Disdainful Stroke works, and theirs didn't. Which is a reason to play Disdainful Stroke for what it's worth. All of the can't be countered are non-creatures, except Lear. But this doesn't stop Disdainful Stroke on your dragons. So, sorry about that, bud. Alright, so they're egging and casting Expressive Iteration. Sure. Sure. Makes sense. I don't think they're able to flip this in time, and I think that means that the Soul Shatter plus Divide by 0 is going to get them here. I guess if they have a strong Expressive Iteration, they're back, but yeah, I mean, that comes into play tapped unless one of these is a land, but if one of those is a land, that's really good for me too. Okay. Makes sense. It wasn't a land. Now the question is, are they attacking? I can't imagine that they are. They're not. Okay. So... how do I want to do this? Do I have lethal? I am a point short, right? I think I start with Soul Shatter. Just ask them what they're going to do. You put them... I start with Soul Shatter, and they have to decide between one of these. And whichever one they pick gives me more information about the better way to play these two cards. Really? Interesting. Okay. So it feels like they're playing to their out of cast Alrund's Epiphany and hope that's good enough, but I've got the Stroke and the Divide by 0, so it's not. Yeah, so, I mean, it all makes sense, their play, but yeah, just not going to be quite good enough here today. At least in this game. Alright, so game 2... I think I'm supposed to have to go blanks in. I kind of hate it, but I think I am. I just saw enough Memory Deluge that I kind of want to go blanks. I don't think they're great by any means, but whatever. It's so hard to decide what to cut because the deck is just so full of good cards. Divide by Zero like is the clunkiest counterspell. I definitely want all of these. I could see cutting an egg, but I don't love that. I'm going to go down a Divide by Zero. And I'm going to cut the other Shatter Skull Smashing. I think cutting lands is like generally a pretty bad idea, but I don't have very many red spells, and I think I can get away with this on the draw. Alright, well, my mana works perfectly, in fact. This hand's like really strong. I need to draw some sort of something to do, but I mean, otherwise this hand's just so good. Dragon's Fire. It's probably the take. I kind of just want to take the iteration, though, honestly. Because Dragon Fire doesn't kill my egg yet. I don't know. That might have been wrong. Alright. Still a really good time to draw spell. Ooh, I can't block Hermit, though, because of the fire. That's kind of annoying. Soul Shader will be good, though. Unless, of course, they've immediately drawn a dragon. Like, if one of these two is a dragon, that's, like, really bad for me. Alright, that's good. That one's good. I like that. Fading Hope. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really have anything to do anyway, so that one's totally fine. And they topped. Interesting. I assume that means this is a land, actually. Ooh, iteration. Yeah, that's better than the land. That's like the best thing they could have possibly drawn there. Annoying, but it is what it is. So I'll be curious to see if they fire off the counterspell on Malevolent Hermit on my Consider. I think that's a really bad idea, but I could see them doing it. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I am going to bend that. Sure. Ooh, into Duress. Oh, Duress is so good there. Okay. So I think I need to be careful and wait another turn. I think that's what I need to do. Because I can get in a really bad spot here against Goldspan. But I don't think I can live in fear of it either. Yeah, I'm going to wait one more turn. They still aren't doing anything yet. As long as I just hold up Soul Shatter for the Goldspan turn, I'm in much better shape. Or Imrith, or whatever 5-mana dragon you want here. And if they miss land drops, I start getting really far ahead. Which there's no guarantee they have land drops there, but they probably do. deck does play a lot of lands. It's like pretty unlikely they miss land drops, but you know, if it happened, it'd be good. Okay, it doesn't happen, but that's fine. So now I have to decide, do I fire off the duress? I still think the answer is no. I still think the answer is no. Because I can get just so blown out here. I'm just going to play my Hall of the Storm Giants and pass. I think that's the play here. This is the turn where it goes really bad for me if they have dragon. Okay, it doesn't look like they did. But this is the turn where that would be the case. Oh, that is pretty good. Oh boy. I still think I just want to keep waiting. I'm not really under that much pressure. I think 7's the number too. So I have a lot of blue sources. I don't have very much red, but I don't need very much red. But I also don't need very much more black. I don't hate another blue source. I guess I'll play another. Yeah, whatever. Do a blue source. The other thing that's nice is their Hermit is going more dead here. Like, the longer their wait, the more dead this gets, which is good for me. Opponent has just really not missed the land either, though, which is, you know, what it is. Okay, so getting Test of Talents here would be a disaster. Just an unmitigated disaster. I think this is the turn. No, it's still not the turn. Still not the turn. Oh, wait, one more turn. One more turn we got. Although I could egg. I think I've waited too long. Now they're deluging. Okay, Bloodchief's Thirst is perfect. That is going to be very good. I don't really think they'll Epiphany this turn. I think they probably put an Epiphany in their hand, but they'll foretell it. Would be my guess. So they hit a land. That's probably good for them. I did not want to do it this way. It just gets so blown out. By Test of Talents, which, given that they didn't do anything, is like very reasonable for them to have. Alright. Well, Divide by 0 is good. So let's do this right. Time to start with a Bloodchief's Thirst. Now the curious thing is, do they negate? Which I think is horrible for them to do, but is something they could do. They memory deluged in response? What? Why? Okay. This was like as far away from anything. Alright. I don't really understand. So that means I can play egg plus duress. It's probably better to just hermit, and I'm gonna egg. Okay, so they have actual 15 counter spells and a Goldspan Dragon. And I can just take their one counter spell, or their one kill spell, flashback Malevolent Hermit, and just be completely golden? Like, they just can't. What do they do about this? So they don't draw a counter spell, their game is over. They have to draw a counter spell, or kill spell for Benevolent Geist, or the game's literally done. Literally done. You've got one card I don't know about. If it's a kill spell for Benevolent Geist, I'm going to lose. Their hand is stacked. But if it's not a kill spell for Benevolent Geist, they are in so much trouble. Can you one time not have it be a kill spell for Benevolent Geist? Okay. Hermit's fine. Hermit's fine. I still only want another black source. I think the Soul Shatter now is still better. I'm leaving it back just to play around them drawing another gold span. I do have Divide by 0, so I'm not, like, terrified of it. Okay, more Malevolent Hermits, that is just totally fine. Those do not do good against Egg, for what it's worth. They have a very bad time against Egg. Alright, one card I don't know about. If it kills these two things, I'm in trouble, but if it doesn't, the game is over. I now have the Ashmouth. Oh, baby. Spells. Oh, it's so good. So the only thing I cared about was Dragon, but I think I need more card draw here. I don't think I need the Blood Chief's Thirst, actually. I think this is the way. One of them into my hand. I'm going to choose... Oh, they've conceded. All right. All right. We found a way. Did I get to 1? No. Still stuck at number 2. Still stuck at number 2. Yikes. All right. We get to actually play... this hand's pretty bad. I want to draw, though. It has all my colors of mana. It's got a cheap interaction. If I draw into a card draw spell or a Leer, I think I can win. If I just draw lands, I'm going to die. I think I can keep this, though. On the draw, I even have a Scry towards action with Fading Hope. This is on the looser end of hands, but I think this is a keep. Alright, well, if you told me my opponent was going to lead on island, I would have been a lot happier about keeping this, so that's fine. Certainly could have led with any of these. That maybe is better, but I just am not really in a rush to do anything. And we have drawn 2 straight lands, so this is not going super well so far. Very happy with how this went, though. I'm going to get to take the Celestis here. Unfortunately, that Deluge is going to be really bad for me, so maybe I was supposed to take that, but I think the Celestis is even worse, honestly. Well, Sedgemoor Witch is going to be good. This isn't really the spot for it, but Sedgemoor Witch is going to be good. I will say that. The Soul Shatter is going to be annoying, though. So opponent is definitely a Leer deck. Ooh, I can wait a turn? Interesting. The question is, do I want to wait? I don't think I actually even do. I'm just going to play this on black. So I feel like untap and jam Leer. That is pretty bad for me, but whatever. All right, Deluge in response. So maybe this goes awkward. This is sort of why Fading Hope is the removal spell game 1, because when you play against decks like this, you just Fading Hope back your Sedgemoor and you're pretty happy. Yep. If they have a Jwari, that's pretty strong on them. They do have a Jwari. Alright. Not the end of the world, though, because I still got a token out of it, so we'll take that. So here, unfortunately, what's going to happen is they're just going to untap and Bloodchief's Thirst my egg, and I'm going to try to divide by 0, and I get blown out by Jwari again, but, like, hopefully I don't have that many Jwaris. It's kind of where I'm at. But I think this is a reasonable play to make on my end. Okay, so they just, I mean, sometimes your opponent has all the things. I need to draw a spell very badly. I drew a land. Tough. That is tough. The other thing that's awkward here is my Hall of the Storm Giants is about to get destroyed by Field of Ruin, so yikes. I'm also mostly out of basics, so one of these is Stone Rain. Things are not going well here for us, for the home team, as it were. Alright, I have seen enough. They have another Memory Deluge. I have drawn only more lands. They had the perfect answer for all of the things, and that is unfortunate. But we are the nightmare matchup for this deck post board, so that's good. I think I cut 1 Leer. I think this is how I do it. And I could see leaving in like a Fading Hope, but I think this is fine. I kind of feel like the 1-mana one is better. Spikefield Hazard better than Shatter Skull. I'm not sure on that. I'm still going to have to work on that. Come on, can we get a real hand, please? Of course. 6 lander into 1 lander. Opponent kept 7 too. Man, this hand is so good if like any of these spells is a land. Let's go to 5. Alright, I mean this is an acceptable 5. Not amazing necessarily, but acceptable. I think I'm bottoming this and divide. I think that's how I win, and I don't think I'm going to win, but I think that's how I have to do this. Oh, do they have a turn 1 duress too? Oh, come on. Well, that basically couldn't have gone worse for me. Into counterspell. Perfect. All right, egg's good. The unfortunate part is now, I mean, they just have a ton more resources than me. I missed my land drop. Okay. Celestis, like, kind of gives me a shot. I'm still in really bad shape. But if I find a land, maybe. I mean, I got a shot. Yeah, I'll sack that one, I guess. Come on, man. Xanathar? Alright. Well, mulled to 5, kept a 2-lander, literally never drew a land. I don't know. That is my first loss with a deck, and we are down to number 5. So, never quite hit it. That's unfortunate. I am going to call it there, though. That is an annoying loss. I don't think blue-black is a real deck. I've been very successful against it, but obviously sometimes you have some unlucky moments. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you like the content we're making here, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And remember, let me know if you like this, if you want to see more. Sorry we couldn't get to number 1 today. We tried. We did try, but here we are. So with that, we'll talk to you guys next time.